I'm going to take a shot on this one.
I'm going to say beer.
I'm buying everybody around on this. Oh my god.
About that one. Moving on. By the way, you guys said the Capitals are probably going to win the division. They're coached by Peter Laviolette, who has the most wins for an American-born head coach.
Laviolette.
Laviolette. All right.
Laviolette.
It's amazing. I love the guy, and I mispronounce his name all the time. But anyway, most wins American all time is him. Who's got the second most?
Tortorella.
And John Tortorella, if you haven't seen his comments on Trevor Zegras, where he said, I'm not sure if it's good for the game. It's cool, but our game has gone so far from what our game should be, a hard game. John Tortorella was right about his comments on Trevor Zegras. Go, Anthony.
Can you really be surprised that this came out of Tortorella's mouth? I mean, he's the prototypical old school, hard knocks, no BS type of coach. And if he coached the Ducks, I guarantee you he probably would have smacked Milano and Zegras around after the game and told him never to do that again while wearing that jersey as long as he's the coach. So I'm not shocked.
Like in Major League, where it was nice play, Hayes. Don't ever do that again.
I'm not shocked based on that. As far as his comments go, I don't know. I mean, listen, I think nowadays it's all about skill and speed, and kids go on YouTube and watching unbelievable deeks and all that stuff. So
50 million views.
Yeah, there's definitely a draw to it, for sure. I think his point was, I think on that segment, I think DiPietro or someone said how many views he got, and Tortorella said, yeah, okay, it's got a lot of views, but I mean, how many of those people actually are still going to really care about hockey after watching it, so which is true to a point. I'm sure there's some people who watch it and oh, wow, that's really cool, but it's not going to make them fall in love with hockey. But so I mean, listen, I think speed and skill sells. I think we need to see more of it. We need to see more personality. And I think this type of goal can show to what Zegras' personality is and stuff. So, I mean, I disagree with Torts. I think it was great. But kind of like the traditionalist old school in me still kind of, would have liked to seen someone try to take his head off for even trying it. That's where I agree with Torts. I think players are too soft these days. If he's right, if that would have happened like in the, John LeClaire era or in, guys like that, they would have steamrolled Zegras the next time they saw him. So he's right on that. But overall, I do think it's good for the game.
So what is it? Sounds like you're buying.
It almost sounds like you want a beer because you think he's right in a way, but he's...
All right, so that's where we're going.
I think it's beer.
Okay. Phil.
And welcome back to another edition of Big Apple Hockey News. I am your host for tonight, John Fulkowski. And our first headline is, Old Man Yells at Cloud, More at 11. Yeah. So I am going to I'm gonna buy a beer here because Anthony kind of nails it. But like I get it. Like in the trap and clutch and grab era beforehand, you would have gotten your head taken off for trying this. And yeah, I do like to see the physicality in the game. But at the same time, you want to grow the game and you're talking this down. It's stupid. It makes no sense to me. But it also didn't make sense to me that they're trying to grow the game and they put an ESPN, or they put Colorado versus the Rangers on ESPN Plus instead of having it on national TV. So, but yeah, this is just stupid for him to do that. In a way, they are right, but he's also a grumpy, kind of grinchy grouch, whatever you want to call him, for saying it the way that he did and being dismissive of it. So I don't know. I'm gonna say beer because I'm kind of torn on this.
I thought I put that up, but I wasn't sure. I'll just do it again. And I might as well leave it because I'm going to say beer as well. The one thing I do have to say about this is Torts was sincere when he was talking about it, I think, because John Tortorella is a guy that always believes every single inch of ice should be fought for at every single moment. If John Tortorella saw his guys, the way the Sabres were pylons standing in front, John Tortorella would have killed them. And another thing about this, people forget about this. The guy that scored the goal is Sonny Milano, a guy that John Tortorella coached for years. So he wasn't, Massapequa was own. I mean, he wasn't completely against what the play is. It's just that when you do something like that flashy and you embarrass a team and you're, as the old term from the NBA goes, you're posterized. That's what people are going to remember forever. And then it's going to be the next time I see Trevor Zegras, he's going to go down. I mean, I'll take a penalty. It doesn't matter.
No problem with that.
Yeah. And OB on NHL Network was talking about that. So it's just there's certain things about that. Like if somebody tries that, that's just what they're going to do. You always love playing that, play with that sometimes. But don't worry. Anthony's still learning the StreamYard stuff on the fly. All right. Moving over to the Colorado Avalanche, who beat the New York Rangers last night. And by the way, boys, they've got the most goals scored in the NHL, and it ain't even close. I think they're 8 more than the next team. But the Avalanche can win a cup with their offense. Philk.
I'm going to say shot. Because we've seen this movie before. They get deep in the playoffs, and then they face a team that plays them tough defensively, takes away their time and space, and is hard on them and starts hitting them, is real physical with them, and what happens? They lose. They haven't made a major improvement to this team. They need another, I would say, legitimate top 4 defender. I would add another depth scorer if I were them. Someone who can really play good two-way hockey. But, actually, you know what? A top 6 forward would really help them out. I wonder who has one of those. Philadelphia? Dallas?
Perhaps.
Could a name like Claude Giroux or Joe Pavelski be available?
Woo, Claude Giroux.
Oh, but you know what? And no, they're not going to win with their offense. Their goaltending has to be better. I don't know if Darcy Kemper is a legitimate or significant upgrade over Philip Grubauer. When you have goaltenders like that, and I get it, people look at, Jordan Bennington won a cup. Bill Ranford won a cup. You know what? The teams in front of them were that much better. And you know what? What did St. Louis win with? Tough, physical, two-way play and great defense. That's what they won with. So when Colorado fixes those other issues, then they will win a Stanley Cup. I'm saying shot right now.
Mr. Laraco.
Shot. That this type of style does not win come playoff time as you go deep into the playoffs.
Jack Johnson plays regular minutes for them.
And John, John said it. It's what I kind of equated to back in 2007. I mean, the Buffalo Sabres were like the version of the Rams, the greatest show on turf. I mean, they scored goals. They were high octane. They were fun to watch. And then they met a team like Ottawa who was able to score similar to them, but play better defense. And they hit a wall in that series, and Ottawa took them out. So I think with Colorado, I think their offense is good enough to win a round or two, but as it gets later in playoffs, it becomes harder to score. Your body becomes more worn down, and you have to fight even harder for that extra space out there. And right now, I don't think the way Colorado plays, they're built to do that. So it is a shot, but it's a long season. Maybe they make some additions at the deadline to help them out, but I don't think they could play this way in the playoffs and win the Stanley Cup.
Well, we're going to make it a clean sweep. And since there's 3 of us, what does that mean? Shot, 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 shot. everybody. So anyway, no, defense wins championships, offense wins games. Just that simple. And whenever it's like that. I mean, Darcy Kemper's got sorry, that was gone again. Darcy Kemper, he's not exactly the most healthy goaltender, so we don't know about him. I like him in net. I'm not sure if I love him in net for Colorado. Their defense is okay. They've given up a lot of goals too. That's something that can't be overlooked. I think they've given up before the Ranger game. They gave up 25, I think, in the last 5 games or something like that. They scored an awful lot, but they were letting them in the back of their net. So no, the answer is you can't win a Stanley Cup with offense. If anybody could tell me the last team that won a Stanley Cup exclusively on offense,
I would say the Carolina Hurricanes. Cam Ward did play out of his mind during that playoff run, but their defense, their top 4 looked like Aaron Ward, Brett Hedican, Frank Caberlet, and I'm missing a name here. Ricard Wallin, I think, would probably that would have been their top 4, but their defense was not good on paper. They were awful on paper. But their top 9 forwards, you had like Mark Recchi and Doug Waite on like their third line practically.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to allow that. That's probably the one I could think of that they won with their offense. I was still thinking Cam Ward won it with.
I mean, he did win the Smythe as a rookie, yeah.
But he did win the Conn Smythe, yeah. He won the Conn Smythe, and Heinz Ward won the Super Bowl MVP that year. One of 3 surnames to share Super Bowl MVP and Conn Smythe trophy winner. So, actually, that's a good one. I should ask you guys about that later. So, also, what's a new hit song that's going around Western Canada? Bruce, there it is. Bruce Boudreau is already fixing the Canucks. And the Canucks, by the way, 4-0 under Boudreau. Anthony.
I mean, the early results, it's hard to argue with that. So I guess I got to go round. They look like a more engaged team under Boudreau. And, usually that happens after you make a coaching change. Players are motivated to play after changing a coach. They're also usually a little bearing the responsibility of getting the prior guy fired. So that kind of motivates them as well. So we'll see if it lasts, for the rest of the year or how long it lasts. But so far, Boudreau is pushing the right buttons. He's getting the most out of the guys. I mean, as it is, because I have ESPN Plus, so I watch a lot of the out-of-market games. Pedersen looks more engaged. Horvat looks better. Brock Besser still needs to, I think, raise his game a little bit. But overall, so far, so good.
Phil?
I feel like you're kind of like pigeonholing this in a way because this is kind of like loaded, if you will. You're saying already fixing the Canucks, but it's such a small sample size. Like it's really, really, really early to be saying already fixing. Yeah. I mean, technically, by what you're saying, you have to say round here because they're 5-0. But is he really fixing them, or is he just going to do the same thing where the offense goes and fires on all cylinders, the defense is still a problem, the goaltending helps them? So yeah, I guess you got the point. It's a beer for me. But
my bad. I thought it sounded like you said round for a minute, but I understand what you mean by that it's a beer.
No, because you still got to worry about their defense, and you don't know what they're going to do towards the end of the season. It's just way too early for me to say this. So I'm gonna say beer here.
This guy's already done it once before midseason, went to another team and improved them greatly. He did it with the Ducks after the Capitals fired him. The guy is a hell of a coach. I wish him to get playoff success, especially after the way you defined it. I almost said beer, but no, I'm going to go buying around. He is just absolutely he's one of the best coaches in the history of the NHL. It's just, he just does not have that, that playoff success that ever matched. I think the deepest he ever got was Game 7, 2015 with Anaheim, and then that was it. But he went to Anaheim. Perry and Getzlaf, they were amazing, and then he goes to Minnesota. Probably the one place where he didn't have as much success as the rest of them. He's won a President's Trophy with 2 different teams. So, wait, no, he didn't. He didn't win with Anaheim.
He won with Washington in 2010. I don't think he won with Anaheim.
I had to stop because the year that he could have won, the Rangers won it. So, yeah. So a little bit too aggressive with that. But he almost won it. Oops. So the guy is still that great of a coach. I can't say enough about Bruce Boudreau. And if I was his players, I would just run through a wall for him. You know what, guys? We'll skip the last one. We'll go because we don't need to do that last one, do we?
What's the last one?
NHL COVID protocols affect competitive balance.
I don't think. Yeah, I think we kind of covered that already.
We don't need to do that, but we do want to know what you guys think. Throw it all down in the comments below. Edmonton Oilers are in trouble. Where the hell did that one come from?
That's definitely
Morocco. Oh wait, all right. I guess Anthony got there in the last second. All right, because you definitely didn't put it under this folder. You were very sneaky, Mr. Anthony. So you know something, guys. So instead of doing the sign off, let's go with this. The Edmonton Oilers are in trouble.
I feel like it was needed. They lost 6 games in a row.
Yeah,
and I think if San Jose would have won last night, they would have fell out of the top 8 in the West. And
that's what you were talking about.
What's crazy? What's crazy about that is McDavid and Draisaitl are having like borderline historic seasons with the way they're producing, and they could potentially be out of a playoff spot. I mean, that's just inexcusable for me. And I can imagine how much frustration McDavid would feel again if they missed the playoffs come the end of the year. But Mikko Koskinen has a .902 save percentage. Mike Smith is 39 years old and has only played 3 games because he's been hurt. Outside of McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, I mean, Zach Hyman's got 11 goals, but outside those guys, Puljujarvi's had a pretty decent year, but I still think they lack depth. I think their defense still really isn't all that great, and I just mentioned, I think their goaltending is not good at all. So I think the Oilers need to do something here to get back on track because as history shows, it might repeat itself with them.
So what's your thing? Is it beer or is it a
round?
It's a round. You're buying. And you know what? I got to pull a Philk on this one. Anthony, define in trouble.
I would say trouble is in they are
the playoffs.
Yeah, of having. Well, I'll put it this way. Where it looked like early in the year they were going to cruise to a division title, it's looking at if they continue on this path that they're going to be in a dogfight just to make the playoffs. Okay.
In that case, yeah, I'm buying everybody around on that one too. I have never been a believer on their goaltending ever at any point. And Ken Holland needs to improve their defense a little bit more. And it's, again, like you said before, you got McDavid, you got Draisaitl. They're producing. They right now have 90 points between the two of them, and yet, come on, I mean, you can't be in this situation where you're fighting for your life every single moment, and you're not sure if the goaltender that's in net is going to stop the puck, because that plays on your team's confidence so badly. If you know that if any shot can go in, no, it can't happen. Philk.
I'm going to have to buy around. Just some things I want to point out here. One, about 2 weeks ago, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl were still almost on pace for over 2 point per game seasons. They were like 170, 180 points.
Yeah.
They're only on pace for about 137 points right now.
Only.
So only. I know it sounds so ridiculous saying that. So ridiculous saying that. But that just goes to show you the slump that those two have kind of been in as of late. And I hate to use the word slump there because they're still both leading the league with 45 points in 27 games apiece. So that's crazy to say. But the other thing is if you look at the standings in the wild card, Edmonton with 27 games has 32 points. They have the second wild card spot as of right now. Winnipeg they have a game on hand on, is breathing down their neck with 31 points. So they're only one behind, and Edmonton has a game in hand on them. San Jose has 29 games played. They have 31 points. LA has the same amount of games played. They're only 2 points. They're 3 points behind. Dallas has 28 points in 26 games. So, and then with Vancouver and their recent surge in play, you'd have to imagine that Dallas is probably going to want to go for it because they have a core that's older between Sagan, Ben, and Radulov. Those three are all older. Holtby's
Klingberg's UFA.
Klingberg's a UFA. I mean, Rupe Hintz is going to need a new deal. They're probably going to have to go for it. So that wild card chase is not going to get any easier for the Oilers. So I don't know if they're at the point of serious troubles as yet, but there is definitely some level of trouble. So I am buying around on this.
Well, here's a question I got for you guys.
Just to answer that question, the Oilers.
Cord just asked that. That's actually what the question I was going to answer is.
They don't have any cap space. They can't add someone of that salary without shipping someone out.
Yeah. So possibly until the end of the season.
That's why Duncan Keith was a stupid move.
Well, here's the other thing. So they've got their choices on goaltenders to go after. We talked about Semyon Varlamov earlier. Marc-Andre Fleury is one. Then there's Khudobin right there. Sorry, Hudobin. I mean, but then you have the ridiculous trade rumor of Carey Price to Edmonton. I mean, so they kind of got their choice, but they got to make their choice soon. Mikko Koskinen is not an NHL goaltender. He's not.
He is, but he's a backup.
I wouldn't go that far. I'd say he's an NHL goaltender, but he's not a starting goaltender.
No.
Okay, maybe I'm harsh on the guy. I've never liked him.
I'm not going to lie to you. A 902 save percentage isn't good, but I wouldn't say he's not an NHL goaltender, though.
All right. Maybe I went a little bit too far with that sentence. So it's just one of those things of kind of like last week when Georgiev went in for Shesterkin. He had an 838 save percentage. The only way to achieve an 838 save percentage was to literally dodge shots. So it's just I've looked at Koskinen over the last 3 or 4 years and just he's just not that good. He's not going to win you a cup. He might not even get you a playoff spot. And the Islanders certainly didn't believe in him either. So there's another one. If you like that video, we got a lot more. So check out any of these that are right over here. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.